naturalist program. And Dan Schaller is a 30-year active duty Marine Corps retiree who moved with his wife to the area in 2017 to help sea turtles survive and enjoy retirement life in Florida. He manages the STPS Sea Turtle Rescue Team of up to 24 volunteers, and the Sea Turtle Preservation Society conducts over 90% of the sea turtle stranding and salvage operations in and throughout Brevard County, under Marine Turtle Permit Authority from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Dan also participates as a permit-listed volunteer with sea turtle nest surveys and evaluation, and as a board member of the Sea Turtle Preservation Society. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to hand it over to Susan. She's going to explain why we should care about sea turtles and their role in our ecosystem. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm on the beach in the Atlantic, which is where our turtle house, office, and education center are located. We went out here today so you can see where we share the state of our sea turtles. Before we talk about how sea turtles survive, I wanted to talk about why you should want them to survive. Sea turtles are considered a keystone species, which means they play a major role in maintaining the ecosystem and its. So sea turtles control the habitat for green sea turtles, eat the seeds, so they maintain that so that it doesn't become too overgrown. They're kind of the lawnmower of the ocean. They also control checks and balances in the web. So leatherbacks eat jellyfish. If we didn't have we may have jellyfish overpopulation. They also provide nourishment to our beaches, depositing eggs, and the egg position is called nutrient cycling. And then they also, unfortunately, many of you will think, serve as a food source. There are a lot of sea turtles, hatchlings, eggs, and young that serve as food for other species. In Brevard County, we play a large role in sea turtles with our 72 miles of beach here behind me. So we have first poll question if you all want to put it up there for them.
All right, our first poll question is, which species of sea turtles regularly nest on Brevard beaches? Green, leatherback, loggerhead, or all of the above? All right, we'll give you a few more minutes. Looks like the majority is saying all of the above. All right, I'm going to end the poll. And then, Susan, could you answer that for us?
The answer is all of. So these nest regularly on our beaches, and these are 3 of the 7 species found worldwide. Meg, if you guys want to play the slides while I talk through this next part, that'd be great. So here in Florida, we host 90% of the sea turtle nests laid in the United States each year. And the east coast of Florida is the #1 nesting spot for loggerhead sea turtles in the entire world. So we are critical habitat. Our beaches help this species survive. We also have leatherback and green sea turtles, as the poll question says, here in Florida. And occasionally we see a Kemp's Ridley or hawksbill nest in the state of Florida. Just to give you a little perspective, look at these numbers. In 2020, in Brevard County, we had almost 27,000 loggerhead nests. And in the state, we had 105,000 loggerhead nests. So we were over a quarter of the nests in the state were here. If you want more numbers, we had 12,000 green nests in 2020 and 98 leatherback nests. So you can see those numbers drop off a little. There were 26,000 greens in the state and 1,600 leatherbacks. So those are not as prevalent here, but we do have them. We have another poll question for you that we thought would be fun. if you want to pull that up, guys.
All right, our next poll question. What do sea turtle eggs look like? Are they small, clear bubbles found in clumps, soft, rubbery ping pong balls, hard-shelled oval-like chicken eggs, or leathery pouch containing an embryo? Looks like the majority knows a lot about sea turtles over here. All right, I'm going to end the poll, and Susan, take it away.
All right. If you guys have that photo, the answer is they look like ping pong balls. And this is a ping pong ball I have here. The only difference is they're a lot softer. They're not hard like a ping pong ball. So if you guys want to walk over here or watch as I walk over here, we have a marked sea turtle nest here on the beach. This is a loggerhead nest. It was laid a few weeks ago. So you can see it's pretty unobtrusive here on the beach, and it'll be here for about 45 to from when it was laid. So here in Brevard, sea turtle nesting season runs March 1st through October 31st. So we have sea turtle on the beach nesting during that time. We also have hatchlings emerging and going out on the beach during that. The sea turtles obviously don't have calendars, so they don't know what time we think it is. You guys seem to know a lot about sea turtles, but I'm just going to cover some basic nesting information for the sea turtles. The mothers will at night, and same as the hatchlings tend to hatch at night. There's fewer birds and less threats to them on the beach at night, cooler temperatures. So each turtle will nest 3 to 6 times during the season, and they'll choose a variety of locations up the region to nest. And each nest will have 80 to 120 eggs in it. So they're putting a lot of eggs. They don't put them all in one basket, so to say, to try and increase their population. It's estimated 1 in 1,000 hatchlings survives to adulthood. And while that's a pretty sad statistic, we like to say that it's also estimated that only 1 in 10 hatchlings survived before we took conservation measures. So if you would like to know what to do to help these sea turtles feed on the beach, the best thing you can do as a beach keeper is to keep the beach clean, flat, and dark. So that's a quick, easy thing to remember. So when you're out on the beach, you don't have any obstacles for these turtles, either the adults or the hatchlings. So if you build a sand castle, knock it down. If you dig a hole or a moat, fill it back in. All of these things can slow down a hatchling or obstruct a mother turtle and give predators to catch up to them energy they could be using to nest or get out.
It looked like Susan froze a little bit. So Nicole, if you want to share the sharing the beach with sea turtles on what we can do to help respect sea turtles on the beach, and I'll see if she comes back.
My name is Dalton Smith, and today I'm here to talk to you about a few tips that you can keep in mind to keep our beaches safe during sea turtle nesting season. Do not disturb sea turtles. Never approach or touch a nesting sea turtle. Keep lights off, stay back, and be quiet. If she is disturbed, she may return to the ocean without laying eggs or may leave before covering her nest completely. Hands off hatchlings. Allow hatchlings to crawl on their own to the ocean. Turtles imprint on the beach that they hatch on, and picking them up could interfere with this natural process. Lights out for sea turtles. Brevard County has a lights out ordinance effective May 1st through October 31st that requires all lights visible from the beach to be either covered, blocked, moved, or turned off from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. This includes flashlights, cell phones, and red lights. Pick up beach chairs and umbrellas. Put away beach chairs, umbrellas, and any other obstacles to help avoid the potential risk of turtles getting stuck while on the beach. Larger turtles can easily get stuck underneath beach chairs or in the slats and become trapped. Fill in the holes. Before leaving the beach, fill in any holes that you see. These pose a threat to both humans and sea turtles who may fall into them. Adult sea turtles as well as hatchlings can become trapped in a deep hole. Knock down sandcastles. Sandcastles can keep hatchlings from reaching the ocean, and adults may expend extra energy going around these obstacles. Stay off the dunes and vegetation. Use only designated crossovers to access the beach. Staying off the dunes will protect the vegetation as well as the shorebird nests and the sea turtle nests. No bonfires. A fire poses a serious risk to both incubating nests and hatchlings. The heat from a fire built on top of an incubating nest could destroy it, and hatchlings emerging and traveling towards the brightest light could crawl towards the fire and die. Call for help. Know the local number for sea turtle emergencies. In Brevard County, call the Sea Turtle Preservation Society's emergency response line at 321-206-0646. You can also call the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission hotline at 888-404-3922. Or on a mobile phone, you can dial star FWC or pound FWC.
Thank you, Nicole. Sorry, Susan, we lost you for a moment. It might be that storm out there.
The iPad overheated, actually.
Oh, yep, that happened. Okay.
Okay, I'm back, but I'm done. If you showed the video, that's great. Everybody heard how to be a good beach goer, so thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll turn it over to Dan at the Sea Turtle Shop in Cape Canaveral, right? Where are you at, Dan?
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan. I'm up at Port Canaveral right now, and I'm standing outside the Sea Turtle Education Center, otherwise known as the Nest Kiosk, or Sea Turtle Nest Kiosk that we call it. If you haven't been here before, we're only open on Saturdays and Sundays, real small, what I call the northerly presence of STPS. And Susan was way down south at Indy Atlantic. I'm way up north up here. And we volunteer at this little kiosk for education and little merchandise sales. If you come up here, if you look over to my left as I'm facing the store, we have Grills over there. That's the restaurant. And we're right between Grills and Terminal 1, which is the terminal that the Royal Caribbean parks their big old cruise ships at. So be sure to come on by and visit us. I'm going to go ahead and flip this video around. Takes me a second here. Okay, now this is the kiosk. I'm going to go ahead and walk in here. And just real quick, it's a very small little building. Let me shut the door. Of course, all the mowers are pretty active this morning out there. And inside, we have a various collection of educational items. We got little posters talking about the main 3 species that Susan mentioned, the loggerhead, leatherback, and the greens. Of course, we have the merchandise, and I always stress that we're all volunteers. Every penny that we make goes right back as much as we can to helping sea turtles survive. Okay. And we'll start over here. I do want to stress that Susan talked a little bit about a nest, and this is a replica of a nest here. It's got a little plastic on the front, makes it hard to see, but as you can see, she mentioned about 80 to about 120 eggs. She also mentioned I'm on the nest survey team, so she's also a nest surveyor, and when we evaluate these nests 3 days after they've hatched, we can go in by law and we pull everything out and we evaluate what happened. Did any of them die in there? How many made it out? Which is always the luxury of seeing that. And also sometimes there's a couple still alive and we release those. The eggs, like she said, it was on the poll question, little ping pong ball looking eggs. And just to let you know though, they're not always right around 100 or 120. I mean, we've evaluated nests. I personally remember one that was over 140 eggs in the egg clutch or the nest. Sometimes you'll see only 50 of them in there. So they do vary, but it's really neat when you pull a big successful nest apart and you evaluate it and you see like 120 of them that are all empty eggs, and all those little guys and gals made it out to the ocean. All right, we got some skulls here, so I'll kind of walk you through some of these. If I can hold this phone steady. The hawksbill, so that's kind of a rare one around the area, but we do see them occasionally. But I'll point out a couple things that are noticeable about these skulls, like the hawksbill. Notice his little beak here, very sharp, because they live on a lot of the foods that they can, forage between little, down at the bottom of the ocean, essentially getting around like the corals and things like that. So they need a nice little sharp beak to get in there and get that stuff. Susan mentioned the green turtles and how they also live off a lot of the seagrass. So they are also called the lawnmowers of the sea sometimes. But I'll point out, if you look real close, you can see the serrated edges of its lower jaw there. And that helps it rip the seagrass out, so it can actually kind of mow through the seagrass a little better and eat that stuff. And we got a loggerhead, which is our very common one we see in the area here. Don't let it fool you. You see how big that loggerhead is. But strangely enough, a lot of people don't realize that greens actually get a little bit bigger than loggerheads normally when they're in the adult size. So this is definitely a adult size skull for the loggerhead, which looks pretty strong and everything. Notice it's the difference in the lower of the beaks here. Eating grass, seagrass, and this one can chomp through those big old, see how big and thick it is and strong? That can actually go through the mollusks and, the big shelled animals and things like that, because that's one of the things it primarily lives on when it becomes, as an adult and everything. And we got the granddaddy here, the leatherbacks. We also see these around here. They do nest here. And we see the little the hatchlings making their way sometimes. We do get them washed back and we assist them. But those are the big granddaddies that, grandmamas, I should say, but they do reach typically up to about 1,500 pounds. And they have found them that have been over 2,000 pounds, the big heavyweights. So those are the big ones. And they'll get to usually 4 to 6 feet. Sometimes they're even, about 10 feet long. So those are still the biggest sea turtles in the world. So those are our 4 skulls. I did want to mention on nests, they go down to about 2 foot. And I would mention, you always got to think, how deep can they dig? Well, remember that they're using their little hind flippers here. When the mamas come in and they lay their eggs, they reach down and create that hole with their hind flippers. So it's only so long or so far that they can reach down there. Okay, I'll make my way around here. I did want to talk a little bit about the diets and things. And we've got these great poster boards here. It talks about green, loggerheads. And as you can see, the diet, especially when they're young, like post hatchlings, they're between about they hit 5 centimeters to about through 9 centimeters. That makes them a post hatchling. They'll eat jelly animals, the copepods, which is basically, think of those as sea bugs, dead insects that are out floating around, and the hydroids, which is kind of like floating seagrass and things like that that's out in the ocean. They do live out in the sargassum. A lot of them here, when they hit the beach, they'll go out 20 miles or so, which is a long way to swim for a little hatchling. You look at them, how tiny they are and everything, but they'll float on that carpet out there of sargassum seaweed for many, many years and survive off the insects and little things and the hydroids that are prevalent in those areas. The diets for the loggerhead, very similar for the youngsters. And then as they get older, like I said earlier, they do dine on the mollusks, crabs and things like that, and the sea pens, the vegetation that's out there. I do want to mention natural predators. We have problems this year. We've had a few coyotes that have been busy disrupting some of the nests, and we call it predating the nest. But also raccoons. A lot of people don't realize that the ghost crabs will also grab a little hatchling and pull it down and have a little dinner with a hatchling in their holes. The seabirds, of course, will swoop down and get them too in the daytime. So as Susan said, it is typical that they usually try to do their little emergence in the nighttime when the predators can't see them as well. So, all right, moving right along here. We have the videos playing here too. Got a nesting turtle there. We keep those. It's a big push on education. That's a big part of our job. No matter what you do as a volunteer under STPS, is educating the public on, the rights and the wrongs, what to do and what not to do with the sea turtles, and even the little hatchlings when they see them. Everybody wants to help them, and we understand that. All right, I want to talk a little bit about STPS programs just real quick. We have a lot of different things that volunteers do. Everything from running the turtle crawl, which is the big 5K we run every year and make a lot of money. And we also support the zoo with a lot of that money. They have the Sea Turtle Healing Center out the zoo, and we love to be able to support them. We help stand them up as an organization. And It's a behind the scenes thing. So it's not one of those things you can visit at the zoo, but they do a lot of hard work and recuperation and rehabilitation of the sea turtles for us, for the entire county. And they work with other facilities, treatment facilities throughout the state also. We do turtle walks in the summer where we actually take people out and legally let them watch a loggerhead female lay eggs and cover them up and head back out to the sea. It's really neat if you can do that. Be sure to check out our website for more information on all these things. We do transports where we legally transport turtles from facility to facility. STRP is a Sea Turtle Emergency Response Program. That's not to be confused with the thing that I typically run, the stranding operations, which is emergency response. But STRP is where we have up to 150 people that are trained annually to go out after a washback, if it's a cold stun, a big storm or something, and we see a lot of smaller turtles ending up on the beach. Those people are trained to handle them and get them back, and we essentially take them to a treatment facility to get helped out. Okay, for stranding, what I want to talk about with that's kind of my the big thing I do within that keeps me very busy within the organization is the emergency response for the entire county, where we have a permit. So legally through Florida Wildlife Commission, I'm going to call them FWC for short, they legally assign us the permissions basically to go out and assist and do emergency response for turtles. We also do recoveries in case they want specimens, and we'll hang on to those and get those coordinated with them for pickup. And we take care of live turtles if they're washed up, if they're sick. We have a lot of turtles that ingest a lot of plastics. We really got to cut back on the use of plastics, but they'll eat those and they get so much in their stomachs that they can't digest. And then they just lose energy. They become lethargic, and then they can't eat anymore, and they become weak. And it's just that slippery slope to surmise or a death, which we don't want to see. So if we can assist them, we get them to a treatment facility for assistance. If they're wounded, same thing. We have boat strikes. We have a lot of issues with boat strikes in this entire state of Florida, and even around here, not just in the ocean, but we also have sea turtles that come up into the rivers, like the Banana River, the Indian River. And, this year, I think I've done at least 10 or 12 strandings on deceased turtles that have been struck pretty bad by boats or vessels out in the river. So let's see. Bottom line, though, I'd always stress, though, that if you see a sick, injured, or dying or dead sea turtle or a hatchling, little baby turtle that needs assistance, be sure to call our hotline. And we're going to probably cover that number a few times in here. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm still connected. Let's see. Can you go ahead and play the? Well, I guess we'll probably do the poll question first if you want to run that. What should you do if you see a sea turtle that needs help?
All right. What should you do if you see a sea turtle that needs help? Should you place it in the water? Call the Sea Turtle Preservation Society hotline, ignore it, or take a selfie? You'll be happy to know, Dan, everybody's saying they should call the hotline. So write that number down.
All right, good to hear, good to hear. I'm going to zoom into one of our cards here. Everybody can see that, but it says on there, emergency response for sea turtles, call the Sea Turtle Emergency Response Hotline. A little background on that. Make sure I get that in the right shot there. It is 321-206-0646. I always ask people, please put that in your phone if you can, as a contact. That way, if you're on the beach somewhere and you see a turtle that needs assistance, it's very easy just to call that number and say, hey, this is the issue. Leave a message, a voicemail with that number, and we'll have one of the hotline people call you back. We have volunteers manning the hotline, and 24/7 pretty much, but 7 days a week we man that hotline. And especially during lit hours, I'll usually try to get somebody out to take care or check out and see what's going on with that turtle. But if you have that in your phone, call that number. Don't call FWC. A lot of people always default and call an FWC, but just as a kind of knowledge point, when you call FWC, they actually call our hotline because we're kind of the response arm for them. They don't have a ton of people, and they're busy doing a lot of other things too. So they know that if there's a turtle in peril, it's got issues, they'll call our hotline, and our hotline folks that volunteer, they will send a notification out to the entire team. We can see which volunteer we can get on site quickest. So the next thing I want to do, actually, let me stress real quick. What can you do? Because people always wonder, what can you do to help sea turtles? And one of them is, like, if you're out on a boat, make sure you have somebody that's, everybody should be looking for turtles too, or things that are in front of the boat as you're cruising along, but have somebody as the lookout for the turtle lookout, even in the rivers out here. And then make sure they're looking hard to see the turtle, make sure the boat's not going too fast. If you see a turtle right in the area that you're at, slow the boat down, put it in neutral so that blade's not turning and all that until that turtle's out of your area and all that stuff. If you see one that's sick bobbing around out there, it doesn't look right, give us a call, give the hotline a call, and they'll instruct you what you can or can't do, or what you may be able to do to help us out and all that. So let's see. I'll go ahead. Right now, I've got the sea turtle rescue van. It's outside here. We actually keep it parked at the port. I'm looking outside right now because it is raining. I think it's probably stopped, but I'm going to go ahead and head out here and give you a little tour of our sea turtle rescue vehicle, which is a van actually. Right. And that's what it looks like. You got the hotline on the side. And it was
cool van, guys.
Tag. So if you ever see those tags on the vehicles, those provide grants and assistance for things that help sea turtles survive and all that. So real quick in the back, I've got different things. I've got a little kit bag here. I've got a measuring tape, which is one of the big things we do for research too, is even if it's a deceased turtle, we measure it and we have to provide all that data online in a database to the state and everything. All right. I've got a card sitting out here. We call these photo cards. It's got the stranding number, which is the initials of the person doing the stranding. It's got the date and how many were done that day by the strander. The species, we shorten it to caretta, which is a loggerhead, and Brevard County. So that's where obviously it happened at. We have different containers. We use towels, we use pads, different things. If it's small, like hatchlings, we put them in the little buckets. We cover them up completely, try to darken it so they get in the nap mode, which is way better. We have cushions. We try to cushion things. In fact, when I go back inside, I want to show you a skeleton and kind of talk about why we cushion underneath a sea turtle. Remember, they live out in the water where they don't have a lot of pressure on their bellies and things like that. So if it's a real big one, we actually use this hard deck item here to carry it out. It's a lot easier. Put it on there and have four people carry that out. So I've also got a carrying strap out here. This is what we use as a sling. Much easier to carry a heavy turtle. 4 people can get around that and lug that thing out. And also throughout the net we've got here, this is one I use. It's a casting type net where it's got metal rings, so it lets me fling it way out there and try to get, especially if it's a deceased turtle I'm just trying to recover or something. Use it even at the port where I was like 20 feet above the water line, and then you drop it in there to get the turtle out. So I'm going to run back inside. Here, it's a little quieter too, hopefully. All right. I think we got another video maybe to watch.
We do, yeah. Nicole, can we get that up?
Yep, just 1 second. There.
And we have another poll question after that.
Okay.
And wrapping it up.
Real quick. Oh, wait till the video's done. Okay, I think we're back on me now. That was a good little video, showed some of the participation that we, or activities, events we do of releasing sea turtles. So I did want to show you, this is a green skeleton we've got put together here. It hangs in the kiosk. It's readily available, so you can like walk all around it and see the different parts. These are things you don't typically see, obviously. This one does not have flippers on it, so everything pretty much except for mostly except for the flippers. But I wanted to point out when I was talking about, you know, there's certain things you got to know about when you're transporting, when you're handling a turtle. These are called, some people might call them belly bones, but these are the plastron bones. But just look at how jagged they are. I mean, it's amazing as I'm zooming around here. Those things look pretty dangerous, actually. But when a sea turtle is very weak, hasn't been eating, it gets really skinny, and you know the skin's kind of loose or wrapping around the bones and things. If you're not handling it properly, these plastron bones can actually pierce, you know, its side and its bellies and stuff like that. So there's a lot to know about the, you know, the sea turtles, and there's so much education online now. Be sure to check out our website. You know, our website's got a lot of good information on it. There's tons of good stuff out there through FWC and all the different organizations that help support sea turtles. So, you know, basically, I'd definitely like to, I think we do have another poll question, but I'm going to stomp my foot now and say plastics, 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 try to cut it, you know, try to refuse the use, take your own bags or take old bags back into the grocery stores and all that stuff to reuse those. And that's the best thing to really do to try to cut down. We see so much plastic when we're doing nest surveys, walking around on the beach. You've all seen it, the bottles all over, but we really got to cut down the use of the plastic. It's just gets really bad. I think go ahead and we got that last poll question there. If you want to run that one now.
Okay. Looks like mostly everybody's clicking all the options. What will you do to help sea turtles survive? Use reusable shopping bags, pick up trash, share what you learned with others, recycle, knock down sandcastles, and fill in holes at the beach. All
I
right.
know I do all those things.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know about the knock down the sandcastles.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, it's a great point about the sand castles, because I get this thing to flip here on me. There we go. The sand castles, the holes, because everybody likes, you know, we're on the beach, we love digging the holes and all that stuff. Let's see if my camera's gonna flip. I don't know why my camera doesn't want to flip here on me, but all right. You getting my video still?
Yeah, yeah. We can see the door and
How
some
about
of
now?
the items. We can see you now. There you go.
Don't realize, you know, kids love to, you know, even take shovels and dig big holes on the beach while they're visiting the beach and all that good stuff. The problem though is, like Susan mentioned earlier, you know, the hatchlings get caught in those holes. A lot of issues with that. So make sure when you're on the beach, you just kind of smooth it out before you leave and everything, especially if you've been digging those 3-foot holes and stuff like that. When we walk it doing our nest surveys, we always stop and we're sitting there, you know, kicking sand in the holes, picking up the trash, the plastics and all that good stuff too. Just trying to, you know, provide more help for the turtles. Get out there, do beach cleanups. That's always important to get that plastic off the beaches and stuff. Do you have the, you want to do the slideshow real quick too? I'll kind of walk through that with the straining slideshows.
Well, we just have about 8 minutes until we have to go. So maybe if you want to give a quick 1 minute, and then we've got some Q&A questions we'd like to ask you guys.
I do like to talk turtles, so I can run my mouth all day, but you know, just wrap up.
That's good.
The little sea turtles, you know, they've been around 100 million years. They're probably going to be longer around, hopefully longer than we are, maybe. But you know, they've been around since dinosaurs were on the planets. You know, by doing some or all these things that we talked about here today, you know, we can each do our part to make sure sea turtles are around for another 100 million years. So thanks everybody for attending today, and nice chatting with y'all. Look forward to hearing some questions.
Woohoo! Thank you guys so much. So we do have a question. Let me see. Oh, someone's asking if you can post the sea turtle hotline number again.
Yes, I can actually post it right now to the chat, and then we will make sure that all this information too is sent out into our registration emails, the people that registered, and then we'll make sure that we're sharing all of it with the Sea Turtle Preservation Society and everybody else in our networks. But there is the phone number. So remember what Dan and Susan said, make sure that you are putting this number into your phone. Sea Turtle Preservation Society, 321-206-0646. That's a great number. Does anybody have any questions they would like to submit through the Q&A about how to get involved with Sea Turtle Preservation Society, or any questions about strandings or sea turtle releases?
I do have a question. I wanted to ask how many strandings or rescues they've had to do this sea turtle season so far.
Okay, am I up?
Sure.
Yeah, can you answer that?
Yeah, I don't have my stats right in front of me. But I do remember as of the 1st of September, we were at 207 sea turtle stranding events or rescues this year. So I remember March was a very heavy month. We had, I think it was right about 50 in March alone, which, I went back, I kind of scratched my head and go, why is March so active for sea turtle rescues and things? But the last 3 years, March was the predominant month, or the highest month of strandings in the county for every year. So it was March. It could be the weather. Maybe it's right at the beginning of nesting season, so we get more activities with the turtles coming nearer to shore to do their thing and lay eggs and all that good stuff. During the hatching time, or when the hatchlings are making their way, we have a lot of reports on that also. We get a lot of activity. We do have, just so everybody knows, we do have collection stations. I'm not supposed to publicly reveal where they're at because we don't want poachers, the bad people, to go and steal hatchlings and things out of those things. But if you do find a hatchling that's struggling on the beach, the best thing is to let it make its way to the water. That's what they do. I mean, they've been around a long time. So don't interfere with it before you start grabbing it. If you see it washed back, if it's being washed back like 15, 20 minutes, and you see it still being rolled back onto the shore and stuff, give the hotline a call, and the hotline monitor will instruct you what to do. And if it needs to be transported, we can ask you if you can take it to one of our collection stations. So that's just another example of some of the stranding activities that we do. We have these collection stations. The public drops them off exactly how we tell them. I mean, and then when they drop it off, they call the hotline again to confirm it's at a collection point, and then one of the stranders goes and recovers it. And we group those. Sometimes I've had times where I've went and recovered like 13 hatchlings at one time out of a stranding collection station. So hopefully that answers the questions there.
Oh yeah, that was a great one. Let's see, Susan, maybe you can answer this one if you're still with us. Can you please tell our participants how they can get involved with the Sea Turtle Preservation Society?
Absolutely, that's a great question. We love to have new members and volunteers, and the easiest way to do it is to go to our website, which is seaturtlespacecoast.org. And at the top, there's a membership and a volunteer tab. You can click, and it's step-by-step information and an online form that our volunteer coordinator and our membership director will get in touch with you and set you up so you can be part of our organization.
Awesome. And I am going to share the link to your website into our chat. And then I will also make sure that that is in our follow-up email to everyone as well.
That'd be great.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the group? I think we got, is there a time of day that hatchlings should not go into the water and the hotline should be called?
I'll go ahead and take that one. So great question, because I do hear that quite often, and even from STPS members. The guideline is, even for a strander, somebody that's on the stranding permit, we are not supposed to release hatchlings after 9 a.m. and until sunset. So those are the no release times, 9 a.m. to sunset. So what we do is, if we do find a hatchling at 7 in the morning and it looks like it's got enough energy, we'll go ahead and try to attempt to release it. If somebody calls at noon and says, hey, I have a hatchling, we have to hold it. And the best thing to do, always stress, you have to stress not to stress out the turtle. But every time, even if it's in a container, if you're opening a container and the light's going in, it provides a little bit of stress to that turtle that you don't want. So when we get the turtles, the hatchlings in particular, we cover them up, make sure they can breathe, make sure they're not too hot, make sure the temperature difference doesn't vary too much, but keep them basically in the dark. So it's a good power nap, as I always like to say. They take a good power nap, and sometimes I've seen them so weak in the morning, power nap all day, and then at sunset, I'll take them out for release, or one of the stranders takes them out for release. And it's just the craziest thing is when you get near the ocean, they can, I don't know, they can see it, sense it, smell it, something, and they just start flapping their little flippers like they are ready to go. And it's just a great feeling to know that, you know, somebody helped out, somebody called the hotline, somebody assisted that turtle, and it probably wouldn't have made it. If it was laying out in the sun all day and not able to get in the ocean, it definitely wouldn't have made it. And a predator probably would have got it. But we were able to, you know, let that little guy or gal make their way to the ocean, and hopefully it's a successful one down the road and becomes an adult. Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys, final questions. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So the Port Canaveral office is open, correct?
The kiosk. So just again,
Kiosk.
because of you know, volunteer type staffing and all that, right now, and we kind of reeled back. We were open Friday through Monday because of COVID. We reeled it back, and right now it's typically only open 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So Saturdays and Sundays, 9:30 to 3. And occasionally, the wife and I just volunteered yesterday. We were here, or actually Tuesday we were here, because sometimes when the big ships at Terminal 1, the Royal Caribbean big ships come in, we like to man it just because we love to talk sea turtles. Obviously, hopefully you can tell that about me. And we had, I think 55 people came in on Tuesday and visited us. And you know, we talked a lot about sea turtles. A lot of them, they're not from this area, but they love hearing about sea turtles and the, you know, the plethora of activities we have with sea turtles in the area. So that's why we love having this thing open, but typically Saturdays and Sundays.
And we have one final question. A participant said that they found an egg with a turtle inside. What should they do? Should they put it back into the nest, or should they call the Sea Turtle Preservation Society?
I'll go ahead and take that one too. So the first question is, have they touched it? If it's in the nest and it's an unopened egg, the best thing to do is, again, before you do anything with a sea turtle nest or an egg or an actual live turtle, is call the hotline. The hotline monitor will call you back, figure out exactly what the circumstances are. Okay, so if I was a hotline monitor right now, somebody called up and said, I've got a sea turtle with an egg and it's pipped, or the sea turtle's hanging out of the egg, probably tell them to retain it, and we would get a strander there to assess the situation. A lot of times if it's still got its yolk on its belly, it may not be a good thing. You know, it's got some growing to do before it can be released. So in that sense, if it is alive, we would probably try to get that to a treatment facility and see what they can do for it to help it survive. I don't know if Susan's got some more to add on that.
All right, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dan and Susan. You guys were amazing. We greatly appreciate your time today and all the wonderful information you shared about sea turtles and what you can do to help them, and all of the Sea Turtle Preservation Society's efforts. We greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.